It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 291 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton, but most importantly,
we hug chickens, ducks, and geese every day.
And we kiss them too. Don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee house here in Maryland. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Caramel.
It's the best. I love caramel. You can't go wrong with caramel.
Nope.
And speaking of caramel, Rocky got into a box and ate a caramel cookie today. So just remember that.
Jeez. Okay.
Are you ready to sip some of this delicious caramel coffee and chat?
I am. But first, some words from our sponsors.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today. That Rocky and the caramel cookie threw me off there for a second. I was like, oh man, I'm too busy. I came down and there was a piece of it left because we went to a local cookie bar the other day. Not Crumble, but it was a local cookie bakery.
Yeah.
It was a caramel cookie with a pretzel on top. And we had one bite left. And Rocky was just an empty box at the end. I was like, dang it, this dog.
Man, I bet those cookies weren't cheap either.
No, they weren't. So,
you really have to puppy proof the whole place with him around.
Yes, you do. You do. Rocky is one of a kind. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Every time my mom gets up from her chair and area, she said she went out and she came back and everything was thrown around. And I was like, oh yeah, he was over there.
He was rooting around looking for food, probably. That's what he does.
It's like, what do you have over here, woman? I want to get some of that.
Could be some good stuff.
Every time we record, I'm in the office and there's a recliner next to me and he's sound asleep until we're done. And then he's like, oh, you're up? Then let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah. Ready to go. I'm not ready to go, but he's ready to go.
I'm not ready to go anywhere. It's thunderstorming right now here. And I'm like, I don't want it to be raining when I have to put those chickens in tonight or give treats.
It's supposed to be stopped by then, but I'm in allergy hell right now. So I'm going to do my best to not sneeze or whatever, sniffle. But yeah.
Well, 5 minutes ago, you did have your coffee cup laying on your eyeball, so...
That's because I have an allergy headache, and the hot cup feels good. You people with sinus problems know what I'm talking about.
You need the warm compress, do it with a blindfold on, and then we put that video out there.
The only bad thing about it, and I can't do it while we record, is because I have to have my glasses on. No contact with the coffee cup when the glasses are on. Well,
yeah, exactly.
Like I said, sorry if I'm sniffly. I'm really trying not to be.
So you did have a tree come down this weekend.
It was a dead tree, thank goodness, but it came down in the goose run during a storm, and it's pulled because the wire in there is 6 feet, 8 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's really high. So it pulled the wire way down, not high enough that they could fly over it or anything. And the worst part of it was it hit the top of the shed, and there were just sticks everywhere. It was like an explosion of sticks.
I know. I feel bad for you over there because you also had to take Pete's car to the farm. And unfortunately...
Why are you telling people that story? I backed my husband's car up into a broken limb that I didn't see and busted out the rear passenger window.
I love that story. I'm sorry it happened, but...
I never do stuff like that. And I sat there in shock after it happened. I was like, that just happened. Like, can I undo this? Can I go back 30 seconds?
My favorite thing is you're like, Marcy's, you were driving so slow. How did that even happen?
Marcy, my sister, she was like, it's not like you were going 30 miles an hour backing up.
You were going like a mile and a half an hour. Meanwhile, like, that's probably why you didn't hear it first, because it was probably like, eh. And then it was just,
there was no hearing at first. It was an instant explosion. I don't know.
Well, until the insurance fixes it in a few days, it is now fixed with a wool bag over the window.
It's a bag that we use. They're the big clear bags that we put wool in when we shear the sheep. We just tape one over it. It keeps the weather out. What do you want?
I love it.
So Pete had to drive the haymobile to physical therapy. The haymobile being my Subaru. And yeah, there was hay in the back of it.
But luckily for him, you did clean it out the other day.
I did, yeah. Man. I was like, I must be getting old or losing my touch or something. I don't know what. I don't know how I busted that window. It is wrong.
I can only imagine, like, you're like creeping back. It's like, what the heck just happened?
I could not believe it. And the truth is, I've really gotten used to, like, driving for 10 years with a backup camera. I've really gotten used to it. It was dark. And
so his doesn't have one, right?
No, his car is old. It's an older Toyota hybrid. It does not have a backup camera. And in my defense, the farm is dark. There's no lighting. It's really dark. So it was like a broken limb that I just didn't see.
Even with the backup camera, though, I've backed into your driveway before and I hit all the brush. It was like,
it went to the hedge.
And then at one point I was like, what is that? Like, I had to stop, get out of the car, and I'm like, shoot, I gotta pull up.
You were in the hedges.
Yes.
Yeah. Back into the hedges, yeah.
But that was with the backup camera.
Jeez.
Not good.
Yeah, well, that's life now. That's our age. That's where we are.
And on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, go over to Apple Podcast and type us a review in there. We love to read those amazingly nice things that you say about our show and all of our hard work. It means a lot to us. It really does. And when you're there, hit that subscribe button, because you never want to miss. If you weren't subscribed, you wouldn't know that Holly went through her back window with a branch the other day.
I can't believe you just blurted that out for everyone to hear. I can't trust you with anything.
That was a good one, though.
You think that's really funny?
Because crazy stuff happens like that to me all the time.
I know. If you're looking for other ways to help support the show, you can tell a few chicken, duck, and goose-loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffee with the chicken ladies. Gigantic thank you to our patrons. We love you guys. And there are two more things you can do to help this show. You can go pre-order our book, The Chicken Lady's Guide to Life with Chickens.
Pre-order.
Pre-orders help us enormously. It's actually better for an author to have their book pre-ordered than just purchased after it's been published, for a bunch of reasons, industry reasons. So if you can pre-order, please and thank you. Street date for a book is October 20th. That's when you will have it in your hot little hands. This is a labor of love.
This is one that you're going to have in your library forever, and it's really going to help you through all the chicken stuff.
Yeah. There's even photos of us in Chrissy's wedding back in 1997. Wow. Oh, how young we were.
We were so young then. Didn't know it, but we were.
Yeah. The other thing you can do to help support this show is visit our website and our show notes. Also, that's where the link to the book is, on our website. So once you've pre-ordered our book, you can use our affiliate links and discount codes and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay! Be honest. What's the most annoying part of chicken keeping day to day?
Oh, that's easy. Feeding time. Or what's left on the ground after it.
Exactly. Wasted feed. And that's where the omelet no waste feeder comes in.
Okay, I need details.
They're designed to solve all the classic feeder problems: spills, wasted feed, and pests.
Yep, that is my life.
The no-waste feeders keeps feed protected, clean, and secure. They're spill-proof by design, which means far less mess around the coop and far less waste overall.
That already sounds like a big improvement.
They also hold enough feed for up to 6 chickens for a week, so you're not constantly topping it up every day.
That is actually life-changing.
And if you go for the smart no-waste feeder, you can even connect it via your phone and set timed openings and closings so feeding can be completely hands-off if you want it to be.
Whoa, I am sold.
Search Omelette, that's OMLET, and upgrade your smart, no-waste feeder today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. There once was a thing, 6'7", 6'7", 6'7",
No.
and now...
No. No, that is not going on our show. No.
Yes! It's my rendition of Blue, Green, and 6'7".
I'm going to let it ride only because I know you don't have anything else prepared. Or
I don't, because that just came into my head just
carry
then.
on. I
got to restart. There once was a thing that they did in school was 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", and now we are doing blue, green, blue, green, blue, green. It's the whiting true blue and true green for the Breed Spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's 53-year-old mother just did 6'7" on her podcast, thereby ensuring that even if there was a tiny bit left of that was cool, it's dead now.
I've killed it. Thank God I've killed it.
Yeah, I'm right there. Thank God you killed it. So as you said, this week's Breed Spotlight is the Whiting True Blue and True Green.
Blue-green.
The Whiting True Blue and the Whiting True Green are varieties of hybrid layers developed by a poultry geneticist named Dr. Tom Whiting. Dr. Whiting, who is from Colorado, started breeding chickens because he was initially trying to develop a breed for cockerel or rooster feather usage. Turns out that very large hackle feathers from roosters' necks are perfect from tying into flies for fly fishing. That's something about which I know zero. I mean, the only thing I know about fly fishing is what I learned writing this spotlight. And Dr. Whiting reportedly tied flies for a hobby. Now, if
we know he did. We met him in Iowa. So
yeah, he was at Murray Fest, and gave some really good talks and showed us a lot of really interesting feathers.
He made it to the party tent the last night, which was our tent.
It was. The party tent it's always our tent.
And he told some pretty crazy stories.
You asked him to be on the podcast, and he said, I don't think so. And I laughed for like half an hour after that. I don't blame you, Dr. Whiting. So if you visit his website, whitingfarms.com, the tagline there is genetic fly tying feathers. This is literally what he was breeding for. There are several photos of large, colorful hackle feathers tied into fishing flies if you want to see what they look like. The website also sells a bit of miscellaneous feathers for craft use.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tom Whiting didn't start entirely from scratch. He had finished his PhD in poultry genetics at the University of Arkansas, and he was managing a large commercial egg operation when he acquired his first line of fly tying chickens. And they were known as the Hoffman Hackle line. He eventually acquired more breeding lines, and he spent the 1990s working on hackle genetics. He even imported hatching eggs from Spain. The oldest known line of fly tying chicken is a breed known as the Coq de Leon.
Yes.
In the midst of all of this breeding, the Whiting True lines were developed. Now, I've found several sources that list Araucanas or Americanas and White Leghorns as a foundation breed for the True Blue. And they do make sense, but I guess Dr. Whiting's pretty tight-lipped on this because I've not been able to confirm this with any reliable sources, even though they do sound likely.
Right.
Especially since some of the True Blues will show up with muffs and beards, which says Americana to me.
Americana all the way. All of the True Blues have a pea comb. That supports us talking about the Americana, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, their appearance is all over the place, and they can have all different colors and feather patterns, and their legs can be just about any of the colors too. So when you see that, you're going to know that way. But they're medium-bodied birds with roos weighing in at about 7 pounds and the hens at about 5.5. So they're a good-sized bird to hold. And the Whiting True Greens are a bit different from the Blues because they breed with a more consistent appearance. So not only are you going to get a different color egg, you're also going to get a more consistent appearance in the way they look. Now, we've read that they are derived from the Isa Browns, but again, no official sources to confirm this. Now, the greens are generally shades of chestnut with some white patches, or they're red with gold and black on their necks and black on their feathers. Okay. So they are very pretty birds. Both of them are very pretty. Now they have yellow legs and straight combs and always lay green eggs. I love green eggs. They're one of my favorite colored eggs.
Beautiful.
Now they're smaller bodied than the blues. The hens weighed about 4 pounds and the roos at about 7. If it's possible, they may be even better layers than the blues. So I would take the green, no doubt. Now, McMurray Hatchery notes in their catalog that the true greens give production white leghorns a run for their money.
That's a big claim right there.
That says something a lot.
Yeah.
So these birds are excellent layers, like we're saying. True blues reportedly lay 5 to 6. When we say beautiful blue eggs, you've got to look them up. They're not a light blue. They are a striking blue egg. They're blue and they're beautiful. And it's 5 to 6 per week, while the greens lay 5 to 6 per week of different shades of green. And if you see the green, some of them can be dark. I mean, then they're bright.
You can even get olive colored eggs from the true greens.
Yeah, I mean,
anything from mint green or sea green to olive green. It's beautiful.
Now, that's about 250 eggs per year. That puts them in, I mean, they are great layers to have. And those eggs, to me, they're some of the most beautiful rainbow colors that you can get in an egg layer. When you look them up, I mean, if you think about a robin blue egg, it's like blue and even deeper sometimes than that.
Yeah, they don't have this sort of like a blue duck egg. Duck egg is kind of a color that's sort of a cross between blue and green. And that's what you're getting. You're getting blue. And I just want to note, because we have had someone ask us this in the past, that yes, we said that the true blue and true green are hybrids, and they are. They will not breed true. They always come from the same parent stock, but their names come from the fact that they lay the true blue and true green eggs. That's where that comes from.
Exactly. I mean, because honestly, the eggs and the number of eggs is what this chicken is all about.
Right.
Those deep colors, you don't get prettier eggs than these. And it's had me thinking I would like them for my egg basket.
If I were going to do a hybrid, it would be one of these two.
Yeah. I agree. So both the blues and the greens are known to be calm and mixed flocks, which is awesome and generally won't go broody. So it's a really good backyard bird that's gonna really give you a lot of eggs. McMurray Hatchery does have a YouTube video from a couple years ago of a broody true blue, though, because you never say never.
Never say never. It's several years ago now. I don't even know if they still have the video up, but I mean, I will tell you that runner ducks are not supposed to go broody, and my runners have been taking turns sitting broody in the nest. Any female poultry probably has the ability to go broody. It's just whether her hormones put her in the position to do it or not. Yeah,
exactly.
These birds are also reasonably heat hardy. They have really nice personalities, and they're good at foraging and free ranging. In several sources, we did read that Dr. Whiting did and still does intend the trues to be backyard birds. He wasn't breeding them for like industrial scale. He was breeding them for backyard chicken keepers. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like they are ones that they're great backyard birds with great personalities and giving that chicken lady or gent that rainbow egg in their basket. So if you can, look up the color of these eggs, because what we're saying doesn't even give them justice. You have to see the color.
They're beautiful. They are.
Now, where does everybody going to go to get them? I mean, we mentioned McMurray, so we know.
McMurray Hatchery acquired the Whiting True Blues and the True Greens, and they offer them exclusively. So you can buy them on their website. You can have these birds shipped to you. If you're lucky, you might find them at some of the farm supply stores that McMurray supply. But in general, you're going to be doing retail from their online catalog.
Yeah, so order them and then get them delivered over. I don't think you're going to be disappointed with this chicken. I really don't. I think many people, especially if you're a backyard farmer or you want a pet, this is going to be great. If you give your eggs away, people love these striking color eggs.
I think if you are in a position to be able to sell your backyard eggs, these will be really nice ones to offer.
Oh, you could up the price on these just because people really want those colored eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have them, give us a story. We'd love to see them.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera.us.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today.
Eaton Pet and Pasture is a farmer-owned company based in upstate New York that creates USA-made sustainable products for backyard chicken keepers. From low-dust hemp bedding and comfy aspen nesting pads to nutritious treats and odor-eliminating products, everything is designed to keep your coop clean, healthy, and smelling egg-tastic.
All their products are made right here in the USA with ingredients that are safe for your flock and the planet. So whether you're doing a deep clean or just a quick refresh, Eaton makes it simple to care for your coop the natural way.
They're your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness, made easy.
Visit EatonPetAndPasture.com to explore the full line of flock favorites and use the code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount. Okay, so we ready to move on to main topic? Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this week's main topic is kind of disgusting, but it's one that's a necessity out there. So don't eat lunch during the main topic, okay?
Super gross. Super gross.
Or breakfast or dinner. Just be not doing anything with food. But we do have a longtime listener who is a great friend to the show who's had this problem recently. We realized we've never really talked about it. So no time like the present. Let's do it. We're doing FlyStrike.
Well, especially this time of year. I mean, in our part of the country, we're the very top of the American South. And this is when we get really humid, boggy, gross days.
I cannot believe we have not talked about this yet in 5.5 years.
Probably because it's so nasty. I will say that it's not always on my radar. I had an elderly alpaca get FlyStrike once because he had scratched open a follicle tumor and it got oozy. And I have a special needs sheep and she had it once.
Yeah.
Never had it in my poultry, knock on wood. But we're going to talk about all the things to look for. Not only is FlyStrike gross and disgusting, it can also kill your poultry if you don't catch it or treat it quickly enough. And that's not an exaggeration. That's the reality of it. FlyStrike can be caused by a bunch of different species of flies, including the screwworms that have been in the news lately. So we're going to talk about them too.
I don't want to talk about them.
I know, but I mean, forewarned is forearmed.
I mentioned those before we were recording. I was like, those things look horrible. Oh my God. The pictures of them. Ooh.
And they fall into this category. So yeah. It's also important to know that FlyStrike can happen to virtually any warm-blooded animal. That's cattle, sheep, llamas and alpacas, all type of poultry, including waterfowl, rabbits, dogs and cats. And I know you saw your share of those in the animal hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And humans, because we are also warm-blooded animals.
So here's the thing. When we were in the animal hospital and we had to debride for maggots, basically FlyStrike, we would draw straws because it was so disgusting.
It's gross.
We did not want to be the people. The animals were anesthetized because them being still and being able to get them out. But as a technician having to do it, the only fair thing was to draw straws because it was disgusting.
Like I said, I've only done it on my 2 different animals and they were my animals. So that stuff is coming off of there fast. Do you want to do that if you've had a case of FlyStrike?
Yeah, I want to talk about this.
Absolutely.
This is one thing that I want people to really understand. And if you've had a case of FlyStrike, don't think that it's your fault. Don't beat yourself up over it. It can happen to anybody at any time. What it takes is a right condition for an opportunistic parasite or bug to get into a place.
Yeah.
And if you have a sore, if somebody has a sore or there's a lot of flies, that can happen and it's not your fault. I don't want someone really beating themselves up over this.
If you're having multiple cases or you find that the same bird is getting FlyStrike over and over, it's probably time to give that bird a good exam and some TLC. If multiple cases pop up for you, though, it might be worth taking a good look at your setup and your cleaning schedule for places where you can improve your husbandry. Also, Spalding fly predators, I swear by them. A subscription for them is really a help.
They are. And husbandry in the spring and summer is different than that in the fall and winter. So keep an eye, just understand that seasons do bring different tasks at different times. So you do want to be cleaning up once a week at least in the summer and spring.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go into what actually causes fly strike. Now, fly strike is caused by flies laying their eggs on an animal. Okay, so they do this with wounds and wet feces covered hair or feathers that attract the flies, who recognize a perfect spot to incubate their offspring. Okay, so if you have a lot of poultry, especially geriatric poultry, they may deal with having those poopy butts. And we're going to talk about some treatments and prevention later on. So your first line of defense with fly strike is always trying to find any injuries quickly and or cleaning off that's stuck on poop, that's especially in hot weather. I mean, like I'm saying, seasonally, things are different. You need to keep poop off the hiney, the vent area in the summer.
A couple pieces a little dried, stuck on feathers is not going to hurt, but it's when they get those big, wet, messy things that sit in the feathers that you really need to stay on top of it.
And when these flies hatch, which can take as little as 12 hours in some cases, that's not very long, those maggots will burrow into the skin of the host animal. Ew, ew, ew.
Now, here's where we can talk about screwworms.
No.
I know, they're in the news, though, and I think it's important that people... I know, they're so gross. So screwworms had been largely eradicated in the U.S. for about the last 60 years, and they've recently shown up in Texas and New Mexico.
I've seen all the reports on Texas.
Right. The reports mention cases in cattle, in goats, and in dogs. Now, these flies are extra bad. The science of flies, the etymology here is really fascinating. And there's 3 levels of flies that cause fly strike for different reasons in different ways. But without going into all that, we will tell you that the screwworm fly is in the first category. They're extra bad because they don't just lay eggs in wounds. They'll go for any healthy tissue with moisture, like noses, or even the umbilical cords on baby farm animals.
No!
Yeah, I mean, they are no joke. They are very serious. Now, fortunately, the USDA does have a good tool to fight these flies. It can take some time. It can take quite a while to get this program going. And we know the USDA, personnel-wise, is not as robust as it once was. So fingers crossed they can get this happening quickly. They do have a good tool to fight the flies. And they developed this in the 1950s after several decades of fighting the screwworms in the southern U.S. Like the 1930s to the 1950s, livestock farmers in the southern U.S. had a terrible time trying to get rid of
I want to know what's bringing them back. Are they like, we're back?
I mean, I would imagine there's a couple things, but probably animals crossing international lines without a lot of regulation, without a lot of oversight.
Right, without actually searching and...
Right, and then if you get them close enough, the flies don't recognize international lines or state lines, so they just get where they want to go. What happened back in the 1950s is that scientists began breeding and releasing sterile male flies. Those sterile males would mate with the female screwworm fly, but because they were sterile, no viable eggs would be produced. Kind of genius, right?
Yeah.
So following strict use of this protocol, the U.S. was free of the screwworm flies by the end of the 1960s. It's tragic and almost inexcusable that this has happened again, but
I know, it's like, how does this happen? But back to the general fly strike at this point. Now, it's obviously disgusting. It's horrifying, but why is it so dangerous? Well, there's a lot of reasons. The larvae don't just burrow into the host. They also quickly start consuming the skin and the flesh of the host animal. So if there's a wound there, they're going to deepen it. They're going to make it worse. They're flesh eating.
In the case of the screw fly, again, it just needs to be like a wet nose, and they burrow as soon as there doesn't even need to be a wound. They'll make one, which is
I
horrifying.
know. Well, that's the worst part. We need to keep them far away from us. No,
for sure.
This is very, very painful. Of course, it would be for anybody, for the bird, for anybody, but it can also cause the wound, like I said, to become bigger, and it can make that infection even worse. And also, it provides more space for more flies to lay more eggs, and then it's a vicious cycle.
Right. I mean, and the fact that it opens the door for bacterial infection is very, very worrying because, yeah.
Oh, it's hardly surprising that this can send your bird or other animals into shock. And you don't want to have that. Being in the animal hospital for so long, I've seen many animals come in, mostly dogs that live outside, and it is really bad.
Yeah.
Really, really bad.
Yeah. The rapid die-off of the tissue and skin during a FlyStrike episode can also cause toxic shock in your animal's body. And the overload of bacteria can cause septic shock or sepsis. These conditions can cause a severe drop in blood pressure and or organ failure, leading to death.
I mean, keep in mind, it's a parasite. It wants to keep the host alive, but it doesn't do a good job of doing it.
Now, in this case, these flies generally don't want to keep the host alive because generally where their food comes from is carcasses.
Yeah, they're just eating to eat.
They're just eating. That's right. They're just eating. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. We got this horrible case, right? Let's just say it's an imaginary case out there. Let's move on to treatment. Now, immediately, I'm talking immediately, move your bird to a safe place and get the maggots off of them. And I'm going to put in another little tip here that we used to use in the animal hospital. And you know that HyboCleanse, the Novosan, the chlorhexidine, you want to make a solution with this. Use the HyboCleanse. Now, every single maggot can get them off as quickly as you can and get that area clean. Now, put the bird in a sink, and this is when you're going to make that bathtub and you're going to wash those maggots with warm. Don't use hot water. So keep washing. If you need to make the bird larvae come out, you can put the bird into a warm Epsom salt bath. That can work. Flush those wounds. You can use iodine too if you have that. The chlorhexidine is one that I really love. I used it so much. You can spray with Blue Coat. Holly Ann loves the Blue Coat, and you use that a lot, correct?
I swear by the Blue Coat. We should probably do an episode on that because a lot of poultry keepers think that it's really, really terrible because of some studies that were done. The studies were not topical. They were feeding birds large amounts of it. That's a whole other show. But I swear by the Blue Coat because we've looked at the science and I've used it for 30 years. Blue Coat will make those maggots come out. So all those things like flushing with diluted iodine or chlorhexidine, the Epsom salts, the Blue Coat, all of those things make those maggots come up. And that's what you need to do.
You can even get a syringe and have it in your first aid kit that has this long, they make them, and I need to figure out what the name is, but it's a syringe that has a long, like it almost looks like a tail on the end. And it's a flushing syringe. And you probably could look them up on Amazon, but it does is the tip is real little, so you can put it into a wound and then flush out.
Yeah.
And that's what we used to use. And you put it in, it's a flushing syringe. So I'll look up a link.
I still have some around. They're bigger. They're too big for poultry, but I have some around from the large livestock.
Yeah.
The other thing I like about Blue Coat is that it helps dry up wounds, gets rid of any fluid or oozy patches that are really attractive to flies and maggots.
Well, it'll also keep other chickens, other poultry away from those wounds too. So that's a good idea.
Try to get some electrolytes into your bird for support and keep them eating and drinking as much as possible. Once you have them cleaned up and stable, keep them indoors until those wounds are completely healed. If infection seems to be a problem, even if you're just worried about infection, get to your vet ASAP for some antibiotics and supportive meds.
This is where I like to have Emerade and I like to have vitamins on hand, like the Nutri-Drench and the Emerade, because you want to give them a big jolt of these things to help them fight off all this bad stuff.
Nutri-Drench is perfect. If you want to get a cc of Nutri-Drench into a bird that's gone through something like this and they're stable, do it. Get it in there.
You do it by beak. It's real easy. It's not that much. So we want to mention something. Holly's going to go through this. We both are, but we have a longtime listener / friend of the show who had this problem. She did a great job treating her birds, but she on her travels found out something that's kind of this myth that's floating around out there. So we kind of want to address it so that we stop somebody else from using this.
We had this friend of ours, a listener, who recently had FlyStrike on a bird, and she did a great job cleaning and pulled that hen through. She was advised, though, to give her hen Capstar. And Capstar is a pill that's usually used in dogs and cats to quickly kill off fleas. It's a form of pesticide.
Right.
And I can understand where the thinking behind this comes from. The thinking is probably that it's better to give the Capstar and quickly kill off any remaining maggots that have burrowed in. But, and this I do tell you from personal experience, because I missed one once on a sheep and it was very badly infected very quickly. So I just had to open it and clean it out. So if there's even one maggot burrowed under the skin and you give that bird Capstar, that maggot will die off and those toxins and bacteria will enter the bird's flesh, end up in their bloodstream. It can make your bird go into toxic or septic shock very quickly. You don't want to kill the maggots inside the skin.
Right, exactly.
You need to get them out. So,
oh, yeah, of course.
Capstar is definitely used to treat FlyStrike in dogs and cats. It's a recognized use, but it has not been studied in poultry, so it's considered off-label use in our birds. Also, it's known to have occasional severe side effects in some dogs and cats. That makes us a bit more leery of using it with poultry FlyStrike. You guys make up your own minds. This is your journey. Do what you want to do. But pending more information, we would rather be safe than sorry. Like, we would glove up and get in there and just get those maggots out without using the Capstar.
Well, like I said, way back when I was a tech, there was no Capstar at that moment in time.
Right.
So it was all about debridement and debriding all the skin to get everybody out, flushing.
Debriding is still the best way to treat it.
And it's still about the flush.
Right.
So flush. And the thing is, this is a medicine for small animals like dogs and cats. They are very, very different in every body system than chickens.
Yeah.
So being very careful, you don't want to give something that's not been tested at all on your bird sometimes. So just be very careful. That's the moral story here. You know, just be very careful. And flush. Flush.
Well, I mean, that is what you have to do. You've got to get those things out. That's the name of the game. The alpaca, it was Nate. You remember Nate, my gray alpaca with the blue eyes? So when he got old, he would get these follicular cysts.
Right.
It's almost like ingrown hairs because alpacas have tons of hair. And I guess he had itched his butt and broken a couple of them open and they got oozy.
Right.
When I went to feed the next morning, like a shaft of sunlight went across his back and I could see hundreds of things wiggling.
Oh, no.
I had a freak out. I called my farm vet and he was like, okay, here's what you got to do. He's like, get the blue coat, get this, get the hose, flush. Flush and flush.
It's the name of the game.
And it worked. I mean, we got every bit off of him. He did not go into shock. With the sheep, we caught her really early, so she didn't have that many on her.
The other thing is bringing them in to your makeshift chicken hospital in the safe place that it is, because you want them out of the outside environment for more flies to come along and lay more eggs.
And like you said, you don't want the flock mates who might be inclined to pick at raw skin, and they also might be inclined to pick at wiggling larvae. Ugh.
And you don't want them eating them because you do not know what these flies are carrying. So bringing them in and having them in for a few days, giving them all like those first aid things that you have, the Emerade, the liquid food, the vitamins, and giving them a fresh start. And you can continue to flush multiple days to make sure you have it all until it's cleaned out completely.
Although I say that if you get in there and get all of them, you usually manage to do a pretty good job.
Hopefully, like if you don't and you still see a problem, you just got to keep flushing.
Absolutely. Do it again.
Mean, honestly, there's no harm in it. So, just keep going.
Exactly. As long as it's not going to make the wound process take longer, repeat what you need to repeat. Do what you need to do. Now, once all the maggots are gone, that's when you can really focus on supportive therapy and helping your bird's wounds heal. You can treat the wound with your favorite antiseptic, whatever usually works, what you have on hand, what works for your birds. You could use
chlorhexidine.
You could use that. Chlorhexidine. You could use Neosporin without pain reliever. I like spraying wounds out with Vetericin and then treating them with silver ointment. If it's a really wet, oozy wound, that blue coat, you can't go wrong with that.
I mean, there's all the sprays. Eaton Pet and Pasture now has a first aid spray that you can use on these wounds. We've reviewed it. It works really well.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's very similar to Vetericyn. Yeah.
You can do Bye Bye Boo Boo with Strong Animal Chicken Essentials. These kind of antiseptics are really great. And you can also, like I said, the Hybocleanse chlorhexidine scrub is amazing. That stuff works well.
We should have said it. I mean, maybe it goes without saying, but when you're flushing and doing all those things, like, be gentle. I mean, they're already in pain. So scrub really hard. Don't do that.
And they don't show pain in the way that other animals do. So you won't know that.
Pain can send them into shock sooner, too. You can even use like a good old-fashioned plantain poultice. Keep it on the dry side. Like anything that has strong antiseptic. Honey's great, but a note on honey. If you're going to use that, you have got to keep your bird inside. Otherwise, you're just going to be attracting way more flies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, if you're going to put honey to seal that up, make sure they are in the house.
For sure. Now, treating with Prozac is another great method to both kill and prevent FlyStrike, including screwworms. I mean, if you buy a thing of Prozac, right on there it says screwworms. In large animals, we use a spray that you can get at TSC, but that is too strong for birds. It's not really meant for poultry. There is supposed to be a powder or dust form that you can use to dust your birds with to help prevent this kind of thing.
Yeah. Gosh, they're bad, and this is the time of year for it. Now, let's look at prevention and, keeping a sharp look at those birds every day. Make sure there isn't something that's ailing them. Try, if you're seeing a sore, if you see that the feathers are matted, if there's a poopy butt, clean all those things, especially in the hot weather. If it's hot and buggy, move wounded chickens inside to recover. There's no harm in doing this.
You can also trim away or wash off any wet, goopy, poopy feathers that are around their vent or around a wound. Trim that stuff off, as long as it's not like really huge feathers, like big wing feathers. You can also add a good probiotic to your flock's water if you're seeing a lot of messy vent feathers. Just try to get their digestion back on track.
And like I was saying earlier, geriatric chickens are more prone to this. Keeping an eye on them, because their bodies, they get arthritis and they can have problems pooping, and then the poop stays on the feathers, and that's going to attract those flies to come back there.
And same with special needs birds.
Oh, yeah.
Special needs birds have all kinds of things going on, depending. So you really want to keep a close eye on them. And sometimes both the elderly and special needs, they need help with hygiene and grooming.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So
just be vigilant. If you see a bird off to themselves, get in there and check, make sure you don't see anything wrong. And the other thing for prevention that I forgot to add that I think is really good to mention is use lime in your coops and runs.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It helps propel flies and all those kind of icky bugs.
After I wrote this, I was so grossed out that I went out with the Revitalize and sprinkled it around on my runs just because the flies are bad right now.
The other thing you can do also, I plant citrus balm around my run, and that's a natural bug repellent.
Yeah.
They don't like the citrus smell of it. Mm-hmm. So there are plenty of herbs. There's actually citronella. It's from an herb, right? So you can plant these herbs outside your run to keep as many of the bugs away from it. But just keep an eye on your girls for this during. And if they're acting weird, this is part of our 10-point exam. Go look everywhere, check their vent area, and make sure, and everything all around, make sure there's nothing. So, and don't beat yourself up if it happens, because
it happens. Like we said, if you get repeat cases, you might need to look at something, but you're not a terrible chicken keeper if you have a case of FlyStrike. It's okay.
Exactly.
If your flock could talk, they would thank you for shopping at Eaton Pet and Pasture, your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness made easy.
From their all-natural USA-made favorites like hemp bedding, roost refresh, and nesting pads, to convenient product bundles that make chicken care simple, Eaton has everything you need to keep your coop clean, cozy, and odor-free.
Check them out at EatonPetAndPasture.com and use code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount.
Okay, so after FlyStrike, are we ready to move on to
cracking the eggs? And I had to take a break before I did the recipe for this show because I was so grossed out.
cooking those eggs. Now, luckily today we're doing something simple that's not going to be really involved because nobody really wants to hear about food after all of that. But we are doing oatmeal pancakes, and this is something that you can just have on hand for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And it makes about a dozen medium-sized pancakes. So, if you have a family, you can double it, and you can just put them in the fridge so that the kids can have them during the summer.
Just making them for you, it gives you like 3 or 4, no, at least 4 breakfasts. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go through the ingredients. We need 1 cup of all-purpose flour or gluten-free flour, 1-to-1, a half a cup of those quick oats, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a half of a teaspoon of baking soda, a half of a teaspoon of kosher salt, a half of a cup of Greek yogurt or dairy-free plant yogurt, 1 cup milk or creamy dairy-free milk, 2 chicken or duck eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil.
You want to grab yourself a large mixing bowl, and in that bowl, you're going to combine the oats with the flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. Whisk them until they're well blended and set aside. In a smaller bowl, you're going to combine the yogurt, the milk, the eggs, vanilla, and oil. Whisk thoroughly until all the wet ingredients are well blended. Pour those wet ingredients into the dry ingredients and stir until just combined. You don't want to overmix because you don't want to lose all that fluffiness that the rise is going to create for you.
Exactly.
Let that batter sit for 5 to 10 minutes to thicken. The oats are going to absorb some of the moisture. You're going to see lots of nice puffy bubbles in there. While you're waiting, you can heat a griddle or a skillet over medium heat on the stovetop. Spray the pan with some nonstick baking spray, or you can use oil or butter, whatever you use when you usually make pancakes, and grease your griddle. Grease my griddle. Once your pan is warm, you're going to drop about 3 tablespoons of batter for each pancake. You can make these small, like silver dollar pancakes if you want.
Yeah,
I like a little bigger pancake.
Any size. I like a big pancake myself.
Mm-hmm. You're going to cook the pancakes until bubbles appear on the surface. Then you're going to flip them and cook for another couple of minutes until the other side is browned and the pancakes are cooked through. Transfer the cooked pancakes to a plate and cover with a towel. Repeat these steps until all of the batter has been used. You can serve these delicious pancakes warm with syrup, butter, jam, Nutella, or whatever toppings your family prefers.
Oh, yeah.
You can also sprinkle chocolate chips on top of or between the pancakes for a slightly less healthy but very delicious breakfast.
I made myself some rhubarb strawberry jelly a week or so ago.
Yeah, these are good with jam.
And I didn't know nothing, just sugar, lemon, and the fruit, and just put it in my fridge in little jam jars.
Mm-hmm.
And it's delicious. Like, I never want to eat anything else again. So that would be really good on top. Okay,
it'd be fantastic.
Try it. You might like it. Let us know what you think. Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy is a seed spotlight. So we are doing the classic
green beans. Green beans.
We had the conversation of, do you call these string beans or green beans? And I said, I call them green beans all the time.
Well, we'll talk about that a little more as we get into this. Fresh green beans are one of our favorite summer staples. They're really easy to grow. They're great for kids and beginning gardeners. You can share them with your poultry, but they must be cooked first. And when it comes to poultry, this is the case for all beans, not just green beans.
It's actually for parrots too. Any kind of birds, it can go into their system and block them taking in certain nutrients.
The beans contain a protein, lectin, I believe it's called, and it causes digestive problems. So too much of it, like you said, can cause blockages, can kill your bird. Similarly, humans can't tolerate uncooked kidney beans. Did you know that?
No, because kidney beans are one of those beans that I only buy in the can because it doesn't make any sense to do it any other way. So I believe they're already cooked. So
yeah, they are. Yeah, it is by far the easiest to just buy them in a can. So if you're going to share your green beans with your chickens, just steam or boil them before you give them out. Now, this is where we were talking about the names. What we call green beans are actually the immature pods of several different kinds of beans, including string beans, snap beans, pole beans, runner beans, and bush beans.
Bush beans!
Bush beans.
I only think about the commercial with the dog and the guy from Bush beans. Yeah, so green beans originated in South and Central America, probably around 8,000 years ago. Christopher Columbus brought back beans to Europe on one of his voyages where they slowly spread through Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that kind of cool? They were just like, oh, yeah, we kind of like these. Let's try them. Let's do this. So most beans were grown for their dried seeds, but in the 1600s, Italians began eating the immature green bean pods. Again, with the Italians figured it out.
I mean, I give credit where credit is due. Those people can eat. They make some good food.
Exactly. So there's a lot more green bean history through the centuries, but we'll fast forward to the 19th century and the 20th centuries where they more than earned their keep because they are so easy to grow and can be pickled and preserved. I'm the one that says I rarely eat green beans from a can, but when I do, it's like candy.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about like the late 1800s, homesteaders were just canning their beans. That technology became available for people at home. So they would can those beans and those green beans would get them through a winter.
You have to preserve things somehow. But, you know, this day and age, if I want a treat, I eat a can of green beans because they taste like candy.
I feel the same way about them once I steam them and just put a tiny bit of butter and some garlic on them. It is like candy. It's delicious.
Well, I eat them like that on a normal basis. If I'm craving something, that's my splurge.
Break out the green bean can.
And I will eat them without even heating them up. I would just eat them straight out of the can.
Green beans are a healthy treat for your birds, and they're a great side dish for us, but they actually aren't a nutritional powerhouse.
Nope.
They add a decent amount of dietary fiber, as well as potassium and folate, and a modest amount of protein. However, they are extremely versatile, and they can be prepared myriad ways. They also hold their own in the garden, where they can be used to provide shade for lettuce and other tender crops, and you can even grow them over frames to provide shade and cover for free-ranging poultry.
Yes, you can. Just make sure they're not eating them.
If you put them up on a frame high enough, they shouldn't be able to get to them.
Yeah, they shouldn't get to them. So there are scores of heirloom green bean seeds to grow in your garden. Like a lot of veggies, the different cultivars have fun and interesting names. I say this every time we do one of these.
Yeah.
These names are like wine names or
They're fun.
Black Valentine, Buff Valentine, Blue Lake, Kentucky Wonder, Provider, Slenderette, Burpee Stringless, and one of the best green bean names ever, Italian Shrimp.
I love that one. I didn't get Italian shrimp this year, but I'm going to get them next year.
I might have been called that in school at some
You
point.
Italian shrimp.
I was very short in Italian, so
Yes.
I might have been called that. Okay, so you can find great green bean seeds everywhere, and I'm talking everywhere. And some of your favorite places are, again, the Baker Creek Rare Seeds. That catalog is amazing. Eden Brothers, Seed Savers Exchange, the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers, Renee's Garden, and Burpee, and Home Depot, Tractor Supply, Lowe's. Any place that sells seeds, you're going to find seeds for green beans. They're everywhere.
If you want to know, Italian shrimp, Baker Creek Rare Seeds has Italian shrimp.
Hey, don't call me an Italian shrimp.
And they're actually a really pretty green bean because they have purple streaks. So they're like green with purple streaks. They're a really pretty bean. I love them. I love growing the beans.
Ella, because she went through a phase where she was really picky, and then she wrote down all these different foods that she was going to try, and she put them in a bowl and little pieces of paper. And every day she had to pick one. This was for herself that she did this.
I think I remember this.
And she picked out green bean. And it just so happened that my friend Ryan came over with green beans from his mom's garden and was like, Ella, I have your green beans.
Oh, no.
He ended up eating all the green beans and Ella did not eat any.
Really?
Yeah, she wouldn't try it. I'm like, Ella, you picked green beans.
Man, they're delicious.
They are good. Should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are going to talk about the very old and beautiful Rouen duck. Main topic, this is another listener request. Natalia, who's one of our wonderful listeners in Hawaii, wants us to cover botulism. So we're going to talk about botulism in chickens and waterfowl.
We need to bring that awareness out there.
Right. Cracking the eggs. We're going to do some Persian love cake. Yeah. And Retail Therapy, we are reviewing some amazing garden products from a company called Smart Grower Organic. And I will say that we love them.
They're awesome. They're great. Okay, so what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens, ducks, and geese every day.
And kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thanks for listening.